We're going to look at analyzing a sentence, 3 ways of looking at the components of sentences. Analyzing sentences in English seems very difficult, but you can make it easier if you remember that English is an SVO language, subject, verb, object, and that those generally come in that order. There are a few exceptions, of course, notably in questions, but also in a few other situations. Let's analyze a sentence. The sentence is, "The girl gave me her pen and I thanked her." First, we look at the functions of the elements of the sentence. So, the girl is the subject, gave is the verb for that subject, me is the indirect object, to whom did she give it, and her pen is the direct object of the verb gave. Similarly, in the second clause, and I thanked her, I is the subject, thanked is the verb, and her is the indirect object. Next, we analyze each word for the word type. We have 2 clauses in this sentence. The first is, the girl gave me her pen, and I thanked her. The second clause is, I thanked her. This is also an independent clause, just like the girl gave me her pen is an independent clause. 2 main or independent clauses that are connected by and or other coordinating conjunctions are called a compound sentence. Here's a second sentence. The nice man whose book you borrowed is my uncle. The main clause is, the nice man is my uncle. Remember, subject, verb, object, SVO. To find the main clause, ask, what is the verb that belongs to the subject? The nice man is. The second clause in this sentence is, whose book you borrowed. Like all clauses, it must also have a subject and a verb. The subject is you, the verb is borrowed, and the word whose refers back to the man, and it's a subject of the verb borrowed. You borrowed his book. Let's look at each word in the 2 clauses. You've got an article, an adjective, nice, man is a noun, the word whose is often called a relative pronoun, then the word book is a noun, you is a pronoun, borrowed is a verb, and then is the verb of the main clause, and then the pronoun my, and noun uncle. So we have the nice man whose book you borrowed is my uncle. We call the subordinating clause an adjective clause, whose book you borrowed, because it modifies or says something about a noun. The noun here is the man. Only adjectives and phrases that function as adjectives modify nouns. You're saying something more about the man. You're telling us more about him so we can figure out which man we're talking about. It's not just any man, it's the man whose book you borrowed. Now this is a complex clause consisting of a main clause, the nice man is my uncle, and a subordinate clause, whose book you borrowed. And that's the end of this little presentation.